Roman crucifixion was an execution method designed for prolonged physical trauma. For the man at the center of the biblical account, this ordeal lasted for over 6 hours. While most victims of this process fell into silence or reacted with panic, Jesus used his limited breath to speak 7 distinct phrases. These 7 sayings are not found in any single book. Instead, they are compiled from individual accounts in Matthew, Luke, and John, which together provide a chronological view of his final statements. Arranging these words by time reveals a specific progression in his focus. He begins not by addressing his own trauma, but by speaking on behalf of others. His first words are directed at the people performing the execution. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." By praying for the soldiers, he is applying his own teaching regarding the forgiveness of enemies at a moment of extreme physical distress. His focus then shifts to a stranger. When one of the men being executed alongside him asks for mercy, Jesus replies, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." This statement establishes the concept of immediate entry into a state of rest. It suggests that salvation is granted at the moment of faith, bypassing any waiting period or secondary steps. The third saying addresses his family, seeing his mother, Mary's mother, and son. Even in this state, his initial priority was the pardon and care of those around him, ensuring his earthly obligations were met before the next phase began. As the hours pass, the focus of his words turns away from the people at the foot of the cross and toward a deep internal spiritual struggle. This is the moment he cries out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" This visual separation represents the theology of the moment. The biblical narrative suggests that as he took on the responsibility for human sin, a temporary, agonizing fracture occurred between the Father and the Son. For Jesus, this experience of spiritual isolation was the defining horror of the crucifixion, exceeding the physical pain of the execution itself. The fifth saying returns the narrative to the immediate physical condition of his body, "I thirst." It is a sharp contrast to his earlier ministry. The figure who offered living water to others so they would never thirst again is now experiencing the final stages of human dehydration. He spoke these words to fulfill ancient messianic prophecies and to complete the experience of the human condition in its most vulnerable state. This simple plea for water grounds the spiritual event of the atonement in the brutal reality of a dying human body. As the 6 hours conclude, the tone of his speech changes from distress to a statement of completion. He makes his 6th declaration, "It is finished." The Greek word used here is tetelestai. In the ancient world, this was a formal accounting term. It was stamped onto ledgers to indicate that a debt had been paid in full. By using this specific term, he is stating that the mission he began in his youth, to do his Father's work, is now successfully concluded. This leads to his 7th and final statement, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." The theological significance here is that he is voluntarily yielding his life, rather than having it taken by his executioners. He bows his head and yields his spirit, marking the end of the physical ordeal. These 7 phrases provided the framework that redefined the cross, turning it into a record of his core convictions and theological claims. These words remain a record of how he practiced his own teachings, demonstrating how to forgive, how to offer hope, and yielding to a higher will.